I mean, jaws are on the floor across Washington, across the national security space right now, because here you have a reporter who was included in the deliberations over one of the biggest national security events this year, the bombing of the Houthis that started on March 15th. And Jeffrey Goldberg, the editor-in-chief of The Atlantic, was privy to the details days ahead of time. What happened is that it appears that Mike Waltz, the national security advisor, added him to a group conversation on Signal, this encrypted app. So presumably these other officials felt like what they were saying was safe. Why he was added, we still don't know. That is the first of a long list of questions. But others on this group chain included the CIA director, the secretaries of defense, of state, the director of national intelligence, and the list goes on. So in the days ahead of this bombing of Yemen, there are these conversations about whether it should happen. J.D. Vance, the vice president, actually pushed back, saying it ran counter to other positions that the president had taken on Europe, but he deferred to the others, and they decided to go ahead with this bombing of the Houthis, which started, this latest campaign started, it's been going on for quite some time, on March 15th. 2 hours before the first bombs dropped, an update was sent by Pete Hegseth, the Secretary of Defense, to the others, in which it had stunning detail about, Jeffrey Goldberg reports, the forthcoming strikes, the information about targets, the weapons the U.S. would be deploying, and the attack sequencing. And Goldberg repeatedly says he didn't know if it was real. It could have been a disinformation campaign. It could have been foreign spies who were trying to do this. But sure enough, 2 hours later, the bombs started to fall, and the officials on this group chain started to celebrate what had happened. Marco Rubio says, "Good job, Pete Hegseth and your team." Mike Waltz, a national security advisor, saying that the team down in Mar-a-Lago, where the president was for the weekend, did a great job as well. There has been no pushback in terms of the veracity of this chain from the White House. Brian Hughes, National Security Council spokesman, just told CNN that this appears to be an authentic message chain. We're reviewing how an inadvertent number was added to the chain, meaning Goldberg. He goes on to say that actually what Goldberg witnessed there was...
All right, guys, we're going to get right into this interesting topic here, guys, with obviously we have the High IQ administration along with the Secretary of Defense, Pete Hegseth, guys, adding on a journalist from The Atlantic who's a huge anti-Trumper, guys, onto a text message thread revealing highly classified military operations that were occurring, military strikes in Yemen. And this individual is Jeffrey Goldberg. U.S. national security leaders included me in a group chat about upcoming military strikes in Yemen. I didn't think it could be real. Then the bombs started falling, guys. Quote unquote, people say it was accidental, but there's a big question mark there, guys. We do know that the Trump and his administration is being spied on, guys. There's been hearing devices found in the Oval Office. These people are already leaking text messages about war plans, highly classified information, including strikes, targets, timing. All that was leaked. So they're pretty much listening to Trump shit all day, guys. Guys, they best believe they are spying on the FBI and the CIA. Are spying on the Trump administration here. Now, it got real interesting, guys, with one specific individual here, and you guessed it, man, because everybody was on that text message thread, guys. Marco Rubio, your boy J.D. Vance, Mike Waltz, and people were saying Mike Waltz was actually the person who added the Jeffrey Goldberg guy onto the thread accidentally, quote unquote, right? So Vance, who was, interestingly enough, guys, this is a groundbreaking shit here, man. So J.D. Vance seemed like he was undermining Trump in some of the text messages, man, because the reality of it is that the Suez Canal and the Red Sea in that area, guys, U.S. trade is only accounted for maybe 3%, right? The majority of it is really to help Europe and Egypt, because Egypt's economy has gone to shit because of the blockade with the Houthis in Yemen. Europe is a hellhole. The economy is just going to hell, and this was exacerbating it. The blockade, really, it did not affect the United States at all, contrary to popular belief. If you turn on Fox News, you're thinking that, that the Red Sea situation is what's causing the economic crisis in this country, guys, not knowing that, this is this is actually, it's going to get worse economically, right? Because the Trump's having a sort of a war with the guy from the Feds, the Powell guy. He's not willing to negotiate on the interest rates. So Trump's trying to shit the economy until it's time to force him into negotiating, and until it's time to refinance the debt and to get a better interest rate. So the economy, we already kind of expected the economy is going to shit. Vance is on there, guys. He's talking mad shit. So he's saying like, he's pretty much. It looks like he was undermining Trump. And again, this is the guy I was saying like, we've never really seen him outside of the inauguration. We've never really seen him with Trump necessarily. The last time we saw him was when he was sitting down with Zelensky, and it looked like that he was, if I'm not mistaken, like not undermining Trump. He was talking over him, and then he took like this, we saw with how he was talking to Zelensky and stuff like that, and it looked like the guy was, looked like he was in charge. Like it wasn't even Trump. And so we don't even know if Trump likes the guy. We never see him around him. He's kind of like, to himself. So who knows, right? And so now these text messages are leaked, and it seems like he's disagreeing with Trump's policy towards bombing, the Houthis. And again, this is all, guys, in tandem with like Israel and the Mossad and their strategy in the Middle East, and we obviously know these people want boots on the ground in Iran, American military men, boots on the ground operations, several American lives dead to help with whatever project they're trying to build in the Middle East that does not in any way benefit America. And there was messages here that where Vance looked like he was voicing that. He says this is what he was saying here. So Vance says there's a further risk. Oh, this is what Vance says. He says, I'm not sure the president is aware how inconsistent this is with his message on Europe right now. Vance said, expressing concern that the strikes would drive up the cost of oil. There's a further risk that we see a moderate to severe spike in oil prices. He said, I am willing to support the consensus of the team and keep these concerns to myself, but there's a strong argument for delaying this a month, doing the messaging work on why this matters, seeing where the economy is, etc. Heck says, also share with the group other likely classified information. So there's a bunch of classified information that they weren't able to release, because it was like, highly classified intelligence. I just hate bailing Europe out again, Vance texted. The Red Sea, where the Houthis have been attacking commercial shipping, carries more European goods than it does for the U.S. market. Facts. I fully share your loathing of European freeloading. It's pathetic. Hegseth responded, showing that the administration's rejection of some of America's closest allies isn't just for show. They did not mention that the U.K. is using its aerial refueling planes to help keep U.S. jets in the air over Yemen. The UK, France, and other NATO allies also have warships in the Red Sea, escorting commercial ships and shooting down Houthi drones and missiles. So, essentially, the UK is, so this is just, the UK is helping refuel planes and stuff like that. And, they're talking about how this is going to affect oil prices in Europe and even America. We're going to see a little spike there. We've already been seeing it, actually within the last month or so. There's been a huge spike in places like California, stuff like that. And then these people, there was text messages to them to when the strikes happen, the timing of it. Oh, they were throwing emojis and all that crap. That all that was classified. So yeah, man, this is like a big L for the Trump administration. Somebody who is not supposed to be in a text message thread somehow automatically landed on there when he was actually being added by an individual on Trump's, in Trump's cabinet. So obviously there's some foul play here, and somebody's, let's be honest here, somebody's working against Trump. Somebody's working for the other side of the team that's in his administration or in his cabinet. That's from the looks of it, because this guy, like, there's no way this guy just got added on willy-nilly or by accident. So huge. This is a big, huge investigation going on. Trump sounded like he was very uncomfortable when he heard about what happened here, guys. Looked like he was holding everything back, but he saw. I'm pretty sure he was aware of the severity of the situation is with this leak here, guys. And, obviously the anti-Trumpers are going to jump on it and make up a whole bunch of other shit just to make it seem like, there's a rift, because that's what they're going to do. This is Trump here reacting to it.
Top cabinet officials and aides have been discussing very sensitive material through Signal and included an Atlantic report. What is your response to that?
I don't know anything about it. I'm not a big fan of the Atlantic. To me, it's a magazine that's going out of business. I think it's not much of a magazine, but I know nothing about it. You're saying that they had what?
They were using Signal to coordinate on sensitive materials and
Having to do with what? Having to do with what? What were they talking about?
with the Houthis.
The Houthis? You mean the attack on the Houthis? Well, it couldn't have been very effective, because the attack was very effective. I can tell you that. I don't know anything about it. You're telling me about it for the first time.
President, your reaction to the story?
Yeah, so Trump looked agitated. Looked like he was surprised to hear about it. But he didn't obviously want to show face with the media present there, guys. But this is this is the same guy who's been running his mouth about meritocracy and how you have to have merit, and he's talking about DEI is this big old thing. And this guy just literally did the dumbest shit, texting war plans to a reporter of the Atlantic. And this is the same guy who was talking about meritocracy and the Clinton emails. They should be arrested for releasing classified information or mishandling it and this and that. So there's old footage of this guy talking
the
shit
spot
here
for this type of conduct and criminally prosecuted for being so reckless with this kind of information. The fact that she wouldn't.
Yeah, man. Look, I don't know if this is going to be the end of, he might have to resign after this. Who knows? But this just revealed a lot of shit that the Trump administration is definitely being spied on. Putin and Xi Jinping are, rubbing their hands together. Like, they're just sitting there laughing at the situation, guys. They have these people by the balls. It looks like China has us by the balls. But anyways, man, let me know what you guys think in the comment sections down below, guys. Yeah, we gotta see how this plays out, man. We gotta see how this plays out. Merit-based hiring, guys. Merit-based hiring.